Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys so incredibly much for joining us on another episode of Starseed Activations. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Nancy. Welcome. Okay, so today we have our questions. We're going to dive right in because we only have an hour today. The shadow work Zoom starts at 8:30, and that's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's about an hour and a half from right now. So that is complimentary. Anyone that wants to join us, just send me a message, and you could do so at daniellelipton.com. And then just wait, a little message icon will pop up. Send a message just asking for the link. And that should be a lot of fun. So the past couple of weeks, we've actually been diving into the shadow work. We've been doing full energetic clearings of each one of the chakras, all of the meridians and ley lines the star people do attunements to. So they dive in, they start pulling at your energetic grids and start rebalancing and recoding it with more love and light. This way, each and every one of us can raise our biological frequencies, allowing us to go through the evolutionary process. And so every time we do a shadow work clearing, it allows new energies, new energetics to come into your grid structures, which then in turn allows you to raise your frequency and allows for a new experience. So it truly is a blessing and an honor to be able to do these type of things. Many love and blessings, Scott, Noel. Thank you everyone for coming. Perfect. Okay, so the first question we have for tonight is tapping into the higher self and bonding. Now, this is very, very important because the process of 5D requires us to be fully energetically bonded into the higher self. So, what does that look like? Now, the higher self flowers open the heart chakra. So, we know that. I've been talking about that for a while now. Now, when we start the energetic bonding, there's more connections that the higher self is going to facilitate. So, the first one is always going to be directly in the heart. All emotions, all thoughts, they must be run through the heart first. Before anything can manifest, it all goes through the heart. There's a slipstream inside of the heart chakra. That slipstream allows for communication with the higher self. So the slipstream, it taps in above time and space. So the higher self exists in a reality in which time and space does not exist. Time and space is only here in the physical realities. So when we start to tune into 5D frequencies, their consciousness is above time and space. So they start to see the entire timeline that they are standing on. That does not mean that they do not experience a now moment. Now, I work closely with the Arcturians. The Arcturians I work with, they are 5D, and so they are above time and space, which means that their perception can see through time and space. So they can see the future, they can see the past, they can tell by your biological frequency what is going to manifest into your current physical reality. Now, once again, each and every one of us, we are directly connected into the source frequency. There's multiple parallel realities running at any given moment. So your frequency that you are holding right now in this current reality can be changed or modified to allow you to access that slipstream and vibrationally become into alignment with a different parallel reality. So what that looks like is many times we're shifting billions and billions of times each and every second. And so if you took a step back and you look at the physical reality, it's going to look like a photo with a picture behind it and a picture behind it, and it has a flicker rate. That I personally have seen the flicker rate, so I know how it looks. Now, the second that you can go in, you can control time and space, you can start to control that flicker rate. Now, if your emotions directly control time and space, when we are very happy and joyful, time always seems to go very rapidly. When we're very sad or depressed, it seems like time goes very, very slow. So time and space has an effect on, it's actually a vortex energetic that's coming down in a tube through a Kundalini channel in the center of your heart. This is what controls time and space, as well as gravity, the star people are saying. So gravity being, it's magnetic in its nature, which once again, your emotions are magnetic. When we start to tune into gravity and levity, levity is a process of pushing something up. It's not anti-gravity, it's levitation. It's pushing it up. So we can go inside, we could change our emotions, and we can start to play around with levitation. Now, anyone who's ever done any type of BMX biking, or let's say you roller skate and you dive into the air, or any type of like jumping off of something into a pool so you're safe. When you do that, there's always a moment before gravity takes over and pulls you down, right? There's always that moment of levity. And it's a split second. You really would have to be consciously aware of how does it make you feel. This is important because when we learn how does it make us feel, then we can start to embody that frequency specifically during your meditations. Because when we start to learn the abilities of levitation, you really have to be deep into a meditation so you can access that slipstream. This is very important. Now, let me tell you guys something from personal experience. That slipstream, you guys can start to activate it during your waking moments. There's no rules or laws saying that you have to be deep into a meditation. However, the easiest way to start is through meditation. Now, I've always been one of those people. I have daydreams. And so a daydream will just suck me into the wall and I will be deep into a daydream. That's meditation. That's the way my mind works constantly. So whenever I get into that daydream moment, that's when you want to start to embody these frequencies. It's an emotion. So if you know how something feels, you can pull that emotion code into your daydream. And you guys, you can sit there and you can stare at an item in the room and you can manifest the daydream. You don't have to wait for your mind to put you into a daydream. It's all the same thing. It's just the perception of consciousness. Now, when we start to utilize the perception of consciousness, you realize that there's multiple rings and multiple layers to the energetic grid structures, and each individual has the potential to tune into this process and make changes or adjustments to not only the biological frequency, but you can make changes to your family circle because that's a ring, your location ring. So you can actually make changes to the land outside of your home. We know through scientific research that when you cast love and light or positivity at a plant, it starts to allow that plant to grow 10 times the normal size. And so that location ring, that is just a reflection of the energetic inside of you, which is reflecting out into Mother Earth, as well as all of the people, plants, items, physical reality outside your door. But it's also your internal home and all such. So when we start to pull down the location ring, just imagine it, visualize a ring, and that ring embodies every person, place, or thing that you are consciously aware of. Now you can start to pull kind of like a string worker ability. So let's say you wanted to pull the family ring forward. So just use your consciousness, drop into a meditation, and just ever so gently imagine pulling down the family ring. Now you can make changes or you can program the family ring. So if there's something that you don't like necessarily about your family, and this is just one example, it doesn't mean anything, but you can start to come to peace with the things that you don't like. That's how you transmutate the energetic in the ring. And so anything we don't like, we send it love and light. This is how we heal. If you guys imagine something that you don't like, and then you have to fill it with love and light so that it's able to heal, right? And so this is how we go through the healing process, the birthing process. You're born perfect. And so the birthing process is different because you are light inside of darkness. The healing process is darkness with light that covers it. So it's the exact opposite. When you start to go in and heal each and every one of your traumas, it goes hand in hand with the birthing process, because the birthing process in itself requires a trauma in order to fully manifest into the physical reality. Now, during the birthing process, when a woman is pregnant, the biological child gets encoded in the epigenetics with emotion codes, as well as changing the subatomic grid structure depending on the frequencies the mother is communicating with. So that also takes on to play the environmentals. So if you're in a toxic environment while you're pregnant, all of that frequency gets encoded into the child. Now, the star people are saying this happens primarily because the blood is shared. The blood is a DNA, and the blood is how the epigenetics becomes programmed. So when mom experiences negativity, it changes her blood, changes her genetics, and because the blood is shared amongst the child also gets encoded. This is how ancestral karma gets passed down the lineage. And so you may have, there goes my train. It's always. You guys may have ancestral karma that you have running and you're currently unaware of. Even individuals who go through the foster system, they are encoded with ancestral karma inside of them. Many of them don't know the parents, and when a case like that happens, they will still manifest according to the ancestral karma encoded to them. All of that information is decided before the soul incarnates here in the physical reality. And so this is just a normal part of being a human. It's I know you hear the train. It's every like, let me not jinx it, like 15 minutes. So funny. Okay, so when we know that this is how the system works, it allows us to take a look into the ancestral karma and to start healing it. Because any of this that's pre-programmed into your genetics, we know, scientifically speaking, we can take a sealed vial of DNA. And so just imagine it's a piece of glass, it's completely sealed, it's sterile, and there's DNA in it. And then you can take it, you can give it to someone who can then cast either love and light, or they can actually use their consciousness to pull it apart. And then when you take that DNA, you put it under a microscope, you can see the DNA is pulled apart. Or if they are telling the DNA to heal itself, the DNA will heal itself. We can also spontaneously generate DNA in sterile water. So think of that one. That's how powerful our consciousness is. This is something we can see scientifically. This is something that can be proved. And this is something that if you have a microscope and you understand how to see DNA, you could do it with just a sterile water. This is the process of manifestation, is what it is. But we're being showed how to manifest on such tiny little levels, yet the entire holographic simulation is a giant manifestation of the collective consciousness. Now, that's another question, because tapping into the higher self and bonding, the higher self directly controls what frequency bandwidth you currently are sitting on in your reality. And that bandwidth that you are holding, that's known as internal circumstances. So your internal circumstances is going to change or radiate a type of magnetism out into the physical reality, which allows you to become vibrationally in alignment with other individuals in the collective consciousness grid. Now, this is important to realize, because the second that we realize what's inside of us is changing all of the people that we see. Now, we have the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect shows us how each individual in the holographic simulation can experience a past history totally different. Totally different. And so we take a look at the movie Space Jam. Many of us remember it with Michael Jordan. Half remembers it with Shaquille O'Neal or Shaq. And so there's different holographic simulations all running at the same time. Now, when we realize that this is the way time space works, this is the way mind over matter, or our consciousness controls the physical reality, it is okay for each person in the world to have their own perception, because the source frequency wanted and needed to have a different perception of every single experience it has running. Now, when the source frequency evolves the entire species, it is when every single experience is fully manifest and not before. So that means all the people having all this negativity, the darkness, the homeless people, all of that, they're walking the darkness. That was all needed in order for the entire collective to evolve. So that changes our perception of how we look at people who are a lower frequency. I thank them. I thank you for your service. Because you guys are walking the darkness, that means that you're allowing all of us to evolve. That's how that process works. So next time you guys see anybody who's going through it, always just hold space, open your heart chakra, and just send them love and light. That's what we do. And it's a beautiful way of changing the way that we see the world, because it actually allows us to be more grateful for them walking the darkness and having these different types of experiences. It makes it okay. Now, it doesn't make it okay for you to stay stuck, because the second that you become consciously aware that you are walking through darkness, you should try your absolute hardest to make moves to pull yourself out of whatever hole you're in. So we don't ever want to spiritually bypass, is what the star people are saying. And we don't want to allow ourselves to be in the lower frequencies because I'm doing it for the collective. That's not right. You want to always be focused on going through your evolutionary process and always focus on yourself. And so when the outside exterior seems to be falling apart, that's okay too, because sometimes things that are not in alignment with who you are meant to be, all that's going to fall apart and it's going to make space. And so this is actually the way the energetic grid structure works. Anything that's not in alignment is always going to fall out of your life. This includes friends, this includes jobs, this includes cars, this includes, because a car is an item. Any items can hold a lower frequency. And so, take for an example, you're driving a hoopty. This is just an example. And then all of a sudden, you start to do the work to raise your frequency. One way or another, if that hoopty dies, now it forces you, you have to use the force, use your willpower to get up and make moves to get a new car. Well, what happens if you got a brand new car? So now all of a sudden, your car is leveled up. I just went through this experience in my life. And so I have a full size washer and dryer in my house. It's so crazy. The dryer is not hooked up properly. And so it's blasting all this like dust everywhere. So now I just said, to heck with it. I go to the laundromat. And so the one laundromat was just totally dirty. And I was like, it is not in alignment anymore. So the universe put us at this brand new state of the art laundromat where it's texting me when my laundry is done. It's totally wild. It looks brand new. It is like 5-star. And so the laundry actually, I feel like it comes out much like cleaner and it smells nicer when it's in an industrial machine. So now it's like prompting us like maybe we should get the industrial machines going, right? So that's my life. This is what we do. But it's a leveling up. And so when something is in the energetic grid structure and you release, that actually opens up a piece of space in the energetic grid for you to allow new energy to come inside. So that new energy, when you release an item, a new item will come in. Now, this also happens with different crystals. So just realize that a lot of times crystals, they will call to you to release them. So you may get bored of them. When you get bored of them and you're not consciously focused on the crystal, you may feel the intuition to give it away. Always give it away and thank the universe for replacing it. And then the crystal that you need to assist you along your healing will always find its way to you. So crystals are actually funny because they are consciousness. They are alive in a sense, whereas we can make contact and communication with the crystal kingdom. Now, we can also do this directly with Mother Earth. We can do it through earth grounding. We could do it inside of an apartment building. We could just go inside to the consciousness because her magnetism is all around us. We don't have to actually go outside. You drop into a meditation and just imagine that you're grounding into the earth and you're allowing this type of energetic bonding to fully proceed with Mother Earth. Now, what I do in my sessions is I pull an energetic cord out each one of the chakras and I plug it right into Mother Earth and I thank her for healing you guys for the next week or two. And so she actually starts to discharge any negative ions that's inside of the body, which generates anti-inflammatory. This is the same exact thing as earth grounding. So when you consciously start manifesting it, it's not the earth that changes. It's not the physical items that change. It's your body and you're coming inside of yourself, changing your frequency. So we are multi-dimensional beings of light and sound frequency. And so if you need to heal a piece of your piece of your body has a distortion. This is what the star people call it. It's a distortion, which means it's not allowing the full light of your higher self to shine bright. So there's density or darkness on the energetic grid. So when we know this, that means that, okay, so let's say you have the cold or flu or whatever funky thing going on. That's a distortion. And so time space isn't real. So that technically means that we can go inside, we can change our biological frequency and instantaneously heal. Now, once upon a time, I was a cripple for 12 years. I went in and it took me 2.5 weeks and I healed all my pain. So each and every one of us can do this. So you have hundreds, many rare ones like Sintimanai and Moldavite. I have a Moldavite necklace. And then someone sent me no, I Amazoned a Sintamani stone. The star people told me that the soul stone was in the heart, or the Sintamani stone. He's saying, he's correcting me. This is my star man. He said you have to encode the Sintamani stone. And so I went on Amazon, I ordered the stone, and I was like, how do I encode it? And like he started giggling. He's like, that's not what it is. And then a whole post came out, and it was like, the soul stone is inside of your heart. When you drop into different types of meditation, it starts the process of crystallization of the physical heart. So, your physical body, when we start tuning into 5D frequencies, there's going to be cellular changes to the energetic structure of the physical matter. And so, certain monks, they drop into the meditation and they are projecting their consciousness into different level or different frequencies. So they can go into the angel realm. The angel realm is going to have an energetic cord dropping into the physical heart. It's actually in the energetic complex. And so it starts to radiate differently in the heart chakra vortex, the star people are saying, which then allows the physical matter to have an effect of a hardening or crystallization. And so it generates stones inside of the heart. Now, anyone who's seen the movie, what is it? It's the one where they're getting the soul stone with Thanos, and it's like they save the world with Iron Man is there, and Thor and all sorts. This is my favorite movie. I can't believe I forgot the name. And so with that one, when they're getting the soul stone, they'll tell you in the movie the soul stone has to have a sacrifice. And that's because when they were doing the Buddhist monks, they would actually burn or what is it called? They would burn the body, unfortunately, when the person passed away, and then they found these soul stones inside of the heart. They're called ring cell stones. The star people are saying. So the ring cell stones, Google that, and then you guys will see. That's actually done by meditation and by tuning in to high frequency levels, which then in turn allows that process to manifest inside the physical heart. Now, that's very, very important because now we can see diving into higher frequencies can have an effect like that on the physical heart. Your heart's everything. The number one disease is a heart attack. And so we're actually learning right now through human sources that all this exercise, because they took a look at the Olympic people who they run and their cardio and they're all this stuff, they're having heart attacks and all these things are happening. So it's not extending their life, but look at the people who meditate and who are happy. They're living longer lives. And meditation is a process of slowing the heart rate. Now, the last question, let me see. Well, I don't know. It's probably on the other page. But one of the questions that we had come in was the process of meditation and how you can actually slow your breath to such a point where it feels like you're not breathing. The body is doing it automatically, but you feel like you're not breathing, but you actually feel like you're in the center of your biological form. So it doesn't even feel like you're fully filling up your body, if that makes sense. You'll know it when you feel it. When you drop into the meditation, you do it, you'll be like, that's what she's talking about. You feel like your soul gets pulled into the inside of your body. That's when you're becoming in alignment inside the physical form. Now, when you drop into the 0 point, the 0 point is connected into the slipstream, the star people are saying. So when we drop into the 0 point, that's right, it's like an X directly in the heart. So it's the center. And then the slipstream is connected through all the way up to the higher self. There's different levels above the head, and there's a flower open. There's a flower open in the pineal gland as well as the heart chakra. There's my train. When we start to align all of these different things, it allows us access. And so if we can tune into higher frequencies and we can start to change the physical material, now just imagine when you tune into lambda, right? We know different brainwave patternings are directly connected into different frequency ranges, the star people are saying. So 3D, 4D, 5D, alpha, beta, lambda, theta, all these things, delta, their brainwave patternings. Now, when you start to tune into like the source frequency and 5D frequencies is very, very high, your brainwaves become very rapid. So think about what happens when a person is very, very excited. When they're very excited, their brain has to function at a very, very rapid rate. They're all the brainwave, it has to like fire off to such a degree. This is how telepathy is formed too. Now, when we start to fire off the excitement and the highest passion, automatically you start to become more in tune with 5D frequencies. This is the natural process of evolution. We do not have to wait for a solar flash. We can start to come inside of ourselves, become really, really happy, and we can start to follow our highest passion, which will make us speak a little bit faster. It'll make our brain work a little bit faster. Now, anyone who has seen the movie Limitless, this is a perfect explanation of 5D. Because what he does, in the movie, what he has done is he has unlocked the true capabilities of his mentality. And so by tuning into all time, all space, and all memory grid of the universal source frequency for the human or earth collective consciousness, the star people are saying what he did in the movie was the earth collective consciousness. There's another level where the solar system collective consciousness is there, and it exists in all memory of all time and all space. So he can see the potentials running depending on the frequencies he has in his perception. So, what that looks like, and I've experienced this as well. I used to have conversations with people, and then I was projecting into the future so I would see what they were going to say before they would say it. But it was three times. So it was not one sentence, it was like the third seconds down in the row. So I was well way in advance of the conversation, waiting for them to catch up. So that's a mental ability gift. Now, of course, when I experienced that, we were going through very, very high solar energetics at the time. So, and then that's a lot of people actually tuned into 5D frequencies. So they may have started to activate different extrasensory abilities. And then we grounded it back out. So the star people had explained to me the reason why I went through that experience was specifically to experience a tiny bit of 5D frequencies and then bring it into the physical reality and ground it out. Now, they've told me that that's one of my personal things that I do because I bring in the information and it grounds out into the human consciousness grids. So anytime that we have a thought, that thought, it always projects down into us, but it's also a two-way form of communication. So that thought is also going up and it's casting out into three people at one time. So if I receive a download, there's two other people out there who receive the same exact download. It may be different words, so it's a different perception. Its filter is different. So the human consciousness or the biological form, the person who is receiving the download, we're all different. And so we all see things differently. This is the reason why whenever you guys are listening to channels, you have to know the person who's channeling. Are they good-hearted? Are they loving, caring, kind? Do they throw stones at people? What kind of person is it? If they're loving, caring, kind, and they don't do any harm to anyone and they don't kill bugs and, whatever, that's how you know, okay, they're on the ascension path and they're just trying to do what's right for everyone. So that's how I used to base it. I really don't listen to channels because I like to keep my information pure. So, yeah. Excellent. Thank you. You guys are Facebook users, so I don't know who it is. 0 point that looks like a heart-based slipstream. Oh, it looks like an X. Yes. I do have some posts on that, so I could try and post them back up to Facebook if you guys do want to see. Okay, so the next question. Let me take a sip. Excellent. Okay. Energetic bonding and energetic bonding into the source frequency. Now, this is very, very important because the main goal of evolution is to tune into the source frequency. That's where all information of all time and all space, including all parallel realities, is located. So the second that we start tuning in and doing energetic bonding with the source frequency, it will allow us access into, once again, pulling your consciousness up that slipstream, tuning in with the higher self, because the higher self is directly connected into the source frequency, and then choosing which lifetime or which parallel lifetime or world you choose to consciously experience. Now, there's many different paths during the evolutionary process. You could choose to be right here on, I was raised Catholic too. It's so funny. My mom knows this information too, because I mean, I used to channel to her nonstop, and now she believes, and she was raised Catholic way back when. So it's funny because the people who were raised Catholic, it actually gives them, it's like a permission to channel extraterrestrials because it's in the book, and we learn about it as children, right? The people came down and all the stuff. It's amazing. Okay, so where was I? Okay, energetic bonding with the source frequency. This is where it's at, because the second that we fully make an energetic bond with the source frequency, it's access into all time and space as well as the multiverse. So whenever we want to start to think about the multiverse, just imagine there's many different paths to experience the multiverse. You could do it internally. So internally is using meditation to pull your consciousness up and out and shifting into a parallel version of yourself and dropping down into that biological form and that reality. And then you embody that world. That's real. But there's different forms as well. We could do it using technology. So, technology is opening up a portal with technology and then stepping through into a parallel reality. We could do that too. So, we maintain our own body. Now, there's different consciousness driven technology that will also allow different species, including humanity, when we reach that level, to take the rainbow body of light out of one body and push it into another body. This is real. So the Arcturians have told us there are stasis bodies. And so I had a lifetime with the Arcturians, and so I have a stasis body. I've seen it in the dream time, so I know it's real. Now, in the dream, I woke up in a stasis pod and I looked around at all my friends, and it was like we're in a simulation. But now that I know and I have direct contact with my starman, he tells me that there is a stasis body that's Arcturian, and that's okay too. And so, a lot of times when they sent the star seeds down here, a lot of us have stasis pod bodies just in case we didn't quite make it through the evolutionary process. We could still come, try and help. And then if anything bad happened, they could ripcord us and put us back in the body so that we don't get stuck, energetically speaking, into Mother Earth's consciousness grids. So, yes, beautiful. Okay. Why is her lips off from what I'm hearing? You know what? On Tuesday, the whole video, like I went on Facebook and I watched it and I was like, the image is off, the video is on. I think it's just a retrograde. So it is freezing up a little bit. I don't know what's going on. But you know what? We just keep pushing through. That's all. Excellent. Okay, so colors and frequencies. How does it change your vibratory state in the now moment? Just imagine for 1 second. Every single color is triggering a brainwave pattern. And so when you wear different colors, it makes the people around you think or feel differently depending on what you are wearing. And so that's okay too. Now, whenever we are wearing, let's say you're wearing black, we know the color black absorbs all the different frequencies. That's why it gets really hot compared to wearing white. White keeps you a little cooler. So if the color black is absorbing all of these frequencies and that frequency is actually latching on to the color fabric, then that means that that frequency bandwidth that you have in your clothes, it's going to start to radiate into your energetic grid structure and have an effect on you. We know that white reflects. White is very pure. And so whenever we wear white, it's our energy that's projected out because we are not accepting other people's energy. And so this is the way colors can have, and it's not only a psychosomatic effect. This is known. This is the reason why certain types of advertising, they use different colors to try and trigger your brainwave to make you feel in love and hungry. Red and yellow. Yellow is the color of the sun. It makes us feel love. We feel warmth. Warmth is heat. And so whenever you guys are drinking like a hot cup of coffee, it's actually triggering love, the emotion of love. So anyone who doesn't understand what love feels like, sit down with the hot cup of tea. How does it make your body feel? That warm feeling. This is another reason why alcohol is tricky. right? Because it tricks you, literally, because that first sip or shot that you take, it makes you feel warm and tingly. That's an illusion. That's not real love because that's a chemical. And that will lead you into darkness with attachments and all sorts of stuff. Black is wonderful for different types of occasions. So when you're going to like a funeral and everyone is sad, you really don't want to wear black because everyone's energy is in the air, it's in the presence of the room. And by wearing black, all of that energy gets encoded to you and then it absorbs in. So if you were sad before and then you put black on, you stood in that room for hours, it's all going to like impact you. I can't change the world. I can just tell you guys what the star people told me. And so it is, who's going to wear white to a funeral? So it's crazy. Now, anyway, colors and frequency, how it changes your vibratory state in the now moment. So think about the colors that the star people are stepping forward. They're saying, think about the color that you guys are naturally attracted to. So has anybody here ever had an experience where their favorite color shifted? So many times we'll be born, we'll be a little child, and then maybe we'll like purple. And then all of a sudden we get older, we go through certain traumas or tragedies, or somebody yells at us, or something happens. And then all of a sudden the purple is the third eye chakra. And so now our favorite color is blue. Now we get a little older, now it's orange. And so what actually happened was your perception from your higher self, it shifted into different chakras. That's the reason that you're drawn to that color. And so your favorite color, if it's red, it's because your higher self wants you to focus on the color red. So you're going to love it every time you see it because the consciousness is trying to draw energy into that lower chakra so that you can evolve above the chakra and evolve yourself into the higher systems. Now, you do also go through a Kundalini awakening. So the Kundalini awakening awakens the inner channels. So the Kundalini channels, there's 5 light ones, there's 1 dark matter one. The dark matter one is surrounding the light matter one that's in the center. And so, but they also correlate to the elementals as well as the 4 cardinal directions. This is important because it changes your magnetism and it can change your entire physical form. So, when we start to realize that this entire system is connected and we start to actually break down the different aspects of the energetic grid structure and we start to place focus and attention, okay, so let's say you need help and assistance in the root chakra. And so your favorite color could be red. So now all of a sudden, your higher self is going to trigger your subconscious mind so that you see red everywhere. And it's your favorite color. So you may see red cars, you may see red fire hydrants, or whatever it is you see. That's because your higher self is trying to get your focus and attention in order to allow you to heal that chakra. So whatever your favorite color is, start diving into that chakra until you at least reach purple, because purple is like one of the last colors that we can visually see in this reality. And once you hit purple, that's when you want to focus on the gamma. And so when you start to focus on the gamma, of course, we can't really see gamma. So just imagine it, visualize it. Imagine that there's a flower on top of your head that opens. When that flower opens and your heart chakra is open, it'll actually allow you to pull the rainbow body of light up the primary Kundalini channel. And then that's when you can start to tune into 5D frequencies. Now, the star people had me do this once. My heart chakra was wide open. I flowered the internal flower open. So I knew my higher self was in her spot, her seat. Because when the heart chakra flower is open, the higher self is there. And then all of a sudden, I felt like them pull me up. And it was just ever so small. And I felt like I was up here. The second I was up there, it was like love, joy, and bliss. It was like getting hugged by an angel. That's what it felt like. And they were like, you need to know the frequency of this so that you can ground in that emotion code. And so even by telling you guys, it felt like pure love, joy, and bliss. Just imagine it, just visualize it, and then just allow yourself. You can even request the higher self to give you that experience. And so it may take you 100 times of trying through meditation. I had to sit there too, and I had to meditate. I tried opening a portal so I could see my starman. I saw sparkles, and it took, but I kept going. My arm was so tired, but I saw the sparkles and I knew it had happened. The second it happened, my heart rate jumped because I got so excited and it all shut down. So, but these are things that we can really do. Now, sitting there for an hour at a time, moving your arm, trying your hardest, right? So, but whoever wants it, you have to focus on it. That's the way the extrasensory abilities work. If you want it, you're going to get the tin foil, you're going to put it on the needle, and you're going to sit there and try and project your energetic at the tin foil and make it move. Now, I do lightning. It happens spontaneously when I'm angry. And so I really try not to be angry at all. I'm very, very relaxed as a person, but I know it happens. So I'm consciously aware of it. But some positive things that we do, I actually do with my kids. The kids are wonderful. Anyone who has kids that are under the age of like 12 or under puberty, you should grab them and start telling them, hey, this is real. I'll show you. Go outside and start projecting the energy into the sky. You can clear all the clouds. You can, if it's rainy out, you could say, thank you, blue sky, sunshine, warm day. Feel the emotions of all these things and just watch the sky will clear up. We did it today. It was rainy all day. And then the second I told the kids, okay, it's raining, we're not going to go for the walk. Boom, sunshine. Because both of them were cahooting together. Right? So this is how it works though. So we don't realize how absolutely connected to the earth, as well as the earth and the weather is connected to the magnetism of the earth. So even if you guys want to see it, you want to don't see yourself as little me, like I can't do anything. But if you want to ask Mother Earth to help you, just imagine and visualize that she's changing the magnetics, generating a vortex energetic up into the upper atmosphere, which is known to have an effect on the weather. This is how the pyramids work. The pyramid, just imagine, now this upward, this is a male, this is a female energy. And so when you have the male energy, this is part of the 0 point. This is why the pyramids look like this. Because look, this and this makes the X. That X is inside of your heart. And so when we see the male aspect of the pyramid, there's a vortex energy, circular, inside of that. It goes all the way up and then it goes out the tip. And so, but that's inside of us too. It's another reflection. So, whatever's inside of us is also going to be reflected on the outside of us. And so, we can see this reflection happening in the pyramids. Now, we can sit here, we can dive into meditation, we can ground in, we can connect to Mother Earth, and we can call a vortex energetic anywhere, anytime as we see fit. A vortex energetic is going to raise the frequency of the location code. It is also going to allow peace, love, and unity to come to all people who are within a certain radius of that vortex. Depending on the strength of the vortex, the star people are saying. The Merkaba field, absolutely. The Merkaba field is made of triangles up and triangles down. And so they all intertwine, they connect. And so if you take a look at your energetic grid structure, there is a triangle up, the crown chakra here. This is actually where the higher frequentials latch in. And so, not to say latch in, they consciously connect into each channel. And so I could feel them in there now because now I'm aware of how they feel. It kind of feels like there's an energy inside of the head. And so the female one looks like this. Yes, like you're pointed down. And that's okay too. It's the cup. Right? What is that cup from the movie with Tom Hanks? The Holy Grail? I think I was Catholic once. So funny. I'm like, it's from the movie. We learn more information from the movies than the religion. I never paid attention. When I was a kid, I was very anti everything. And so they used to always silence me in school. So I would ask a question they didn't know the answer to, and so they silenced me. And I don't know. I've always been a rebel at heart. And so if you don't have the answers, I'm like, I don't believe you. So that was just me as a kid. It's a very wild education. Okay. Other people casting onto the primary individual and changing the now moment frequencies. And so this is really, really important because when we start to see that each individual surrounding us also plays an energetic role in who we are in the now moment. So many times when we walk through darkness, we have to literally remove ourselves from all of those people who knew us during the darkness. Take yourself into a separate location where no one knows you and start all over again. This is because all the people who knew you while you were walking in the darkness, they're doing a form of energetic casting. So if we took an individual who's trying to bend a spoon and we put a non-believing individual in the chair next to them, that non-believing individual is going to cast so much negative energy of you can't do that, that it's going to have an effect on the person who knows that they can bend the spoon. So they may have a more difficult time bending the spoon because of that energy is there. And so this is the reason why we always want to pay attention to how other people think and feel about us. Never discount your intuition. My intuition, I used to always discount it. And I used to think, oh, maybe I'm just thinking this way or I'm paranoid. That was a famous one. You're just paranoid, right? But no, your intuition is firing off and it can give you emotions. And so anytime you have an emotion about one of your friends, you may feel a certain way and you're like, I don't know why I feel this way. That's your intuition. That's actually coming from your higher self. So you always want to reevaluate and don't wait for justification. It is okay to take a break so that you can come back in and rebalance yourself, because overall, you have to maintain your own mental health. You have to maintain your own life. And it's very, very important to come back to yourself so you can get to know who you are without your friends around you. Friends influence you. Whether you like it or not, this is just the way it works. Your top 5 friends, when you take all of their incomes, divide it by 5, you actually get your income. So even if you don't see them influencing you in certain ways, it's still in the energetic grid structure. And so you always want to be shooting up. Because when you have friends who are at a higher level or than you, and this doesn't necessarily mean a frequency level. If you're trying to write a book, go find some author friends. They've done it. They can help you get from point A to point B. Start talking to people who know things that you want to know. Start hanging out with intellectual people. Start watching what podcasts you listen to. Is it positive? Is it information that I'm going to use? Now, anytime as a human being, whenever we start to digest new information, it's triggering brand new brainwave patternings. So that means that the neuron, if it's used to going like this, when you listen to new information, it goes like that. So what you just did was you just activated a brand new portion in your brain that made you smarter, because now all of a sudden you're increasing your capacity for knowledge. The more and more we start to focus on education every single day, the smarter we become. Now, who says that we have to go to grade 12 and then that's a wrap for our education? Continuing education should be continuing until the moment of death. You should never stop learning anything. So, in time, which we can already see it manifesting, but in time, we see things like, we call it YouTube University, which is when regular people make YouTubes and they share the information that they've learned. And then if we need to know how to do something like fix a faucet, we go right on YouTube, we figure it out because they did it. So we take the information from them and then we figure it out. And then we take the information and we share the video with everyone, because if they need to know, then we have the information. This is the way consciousness and the memory grid complex is going to be shared in the future. It's already happening right now. This is a third train. Do you hear it? No joke. It's 47 minutes, 3 trains. It's like every 15. So funny. Let me take a sip. Does anyone have any questions? You guys are amazing tonight. Okay. So, commanding a frequency shift and meditations. Now, this is very important as well, because, of course, this guy's going to like sit on the horn. Okay, now he stopped. Commanding a frequency shift and meditations. So, let's say, for an example, you feel or you wake up in like a funky mood. We are going through, what is it? A full moon, a retrograde, and an eclipse. And so this is all part of the shindig of right now. And so when we realize that, okay, maybe you're having a crummy time waking up. This just happened to me 2 days ago. I was like, I just don't want to wake up. I slept in until like 10 or 11 in the morning. And so when you feel like that, just drop into the meditation and you can use the willpower. So your willpower basically looks like this. If you don't feel good, and let's say it's in any area, any aspect of the physical form, the first thing I always recommend is to throw the attachments off, because each and every one of us, we deal with attachments. If you go into like the supermarkets or the stores, the attachments hop from person to person. So unless you're consciously focusing on kicking them off, which I am, it's, something that we have to just play a little bit of focus and attention on. This way, we constantly clear the energetic grid structure, and it allows us to raise our frequency when it's needed. Now, I actually just had an experience. I didn't even leave my house. This guy came to the door selling me something to do with electricity, and he had some type of thought grid. It wasn't even a thought grid, it was the throat grid attachment. And so the second he started talking, I fell into like a pure chaos and confusion moment where I was even trying to tell one of the neighbors what he was here for. And I said it wrong like 3 times. The neighbor was like, "What's wrong with you?" So sometimes different people, they start to come forward with these abilities. So the guy was a kid, and it wasn't just Mercury retrograde. It was like a straight up bam from his energy. Now I can feel people's distortions. And so, but this kid, I didn't think he had a distortion in his throat chakra because he was speaking perfectly fine. He didn't miss a beat the entire time. He was a salesman. So, but he was making like chaos and confusion. So a lot of times people will activate the extrasensory abilities, star people stepping forward, saying depending on what they need. And so, as a salesman, just imagine he's a kid. He's high frequency. He's love and light because he's laughing all the time. He's a kid. And then all of a sudden, he needs you to sign this contract or whatever it was electronic. So, what happens is when he's telling you the whole spiel, it was very, very rapid. And so, but not only that, it was like he was casting while he was doing it. This is definitely an extrasensory ability. It took me a hot minute because to rebalance, I not only had to go in nature, go for a walk, I did a Wim Hof breath work, right? And so I had to do a bunch of that. I had to come home and saltwater bath. And then finally, after all three of those things, which took 2 hours, 2.5 hours to do. And we went swimming. We went swimming for 3 hours on top of it. So by the time all that was done, I felt a whole lot better. But I'm telling you, people are activating the extrasensory abilities now. They may not even realize that they have the abilities, but it's working and it's coming for them when they need it to come. Now, actually, that prompts me to a memory because there was a TV show called Heroes. And in the TV show Heroes, it was when a solar eclipse came and activated all these regular, everyday people to abilities that they didn't know that they had. And so this was one of those abilities where someone has the ability to project a form of chaos in the mental grids, which the star people are actually saying it's a thought grid complex. And then it makes it so it's like a slight confusion. So you have problems communicating, and then you end up signing because you get so confused in the now moment. We know that salesmen can do this naturally without extrasensory abilities. So we take a look at different hypnotists. Hypnotists can do this to us too. And so that hypnotist and program the subconscious mind, those are all a part of extrasensory abilities. I love the TV series, and I got rid of all the DVDs I had because it was on Netflix, and then Netflix removed it. Now they want me to pay for it on Apple TV. I refuse. But I loved it. And then they came out with a new one years later of Heroes. It was like the flashback. And even that one started tuning into portals. And I would love to watch it again. Love it. So, and then the one guy, he was a karate guy. That's like totally my thing. I went to martial arts when I was younger. And so we went to Mexico and did the World Cup competition. So I still have my medal from it. I took bronze, I think. It was not gold. It was the other one that's, I think it's bronze. And so and I was disqualified for fighting. So when you're doing point fighting, I accidentally knocked her in her nose and they were like disqualified. So, but it was a memory, right? So it's great. What time is it? Okay, so 7:57. Okay, I have to watch the movie Luck or Lucy. Which one? What was the name of what? Saint Germain is Heavenly Magician. Oh, see, I have to Google Saint Germain. I don't know who that is. Yeah. Oh, I love the hero shows. Loved it. That was my favorite when the guy sat there and he looked at the clock and he was like, I did it. Right. Because it's like, I've done that. I've had experiences where time and space totally bent. I was working as a waitress once in a Japanese steakhouse. And so you have the chefs banging on the table. It's very loud, it's very noisy. And one day it got eerily quiet. Right as I'm taking an order. So I'm talking to people. Everyone in the entire restaurant, we all turned and we all started looking at each other. And it was like, what's happening? What's going on? And it felt like it took so long. Like we made eye contact. We're like, everyone is shrugging. What's happening? And then it was like 30 seconds later and a fight broke out and some guy was bleeding. So, but that experience showed me, okay, something happened, and our like spider senses all became activated, and then all of a sudden everyone, all this chaos was happening. So the star people have told us many, many times, they're like, this happens during car accidents too. Time will slow. Now if you look at it like that vortex that's inside of you, that vortex lowers in frequency when trauma is about to hit. This is what scientifically is happening. And so right at that moment of car accident, that vortex connected to the center kundalini channel, it slows, it drops into a low frequency where time and space goes very slow to give your consciousness a perception, so that while you're going through the accident, you can actually dive right back into the heart chakra and send so much love and light. You can send a white light. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm sending a white light. I'm sending an actual physical white light will radiate out from you and generate a ball of pure white light, which will protect you in the car accident. If you might not even see the white light, the star people are saying, but just the sheer fact that you become consciously aware, okay, time is going slow to give me a moment to drop into my heart and send the situation love and light to transmutate that energetic so that I put myself on a higher potential timeline so I don't have to get hurt. Some people do this during their car accidents, right? They get into a car accident, the car gets squished. They have to use the jaws of life to cut the damn door open. And then they get up and they stand up and they're like, I'm fine, right? They were just super squished inside the car. And so it all depends on the frequency that you are holding and your individual manifestation. The physical reality, it is a holographic simulation. So whenever you start to see time go slow, or it got quiet. So it was eerie quiet in the restaurant. That's when you know you want to open your heart and send love and light. The white light flash in meditation means what? Now, there's certain types of white light flashes. So I know my Starman, he puts a piece of technology here. Oh, of course, it's on the third eye. I had no idea because I'll be closing my eyes and trying to go to sleep, meditation, and I'll see a white light flash up here in my eyes. And he says, just don't worry about it. He's doing adjustments. There was also another time he did an adjustment on my pineal gland, and it felt like it was sucking, like sucking all the energy out. So, whatever technology they were using, they were trying to pull all the densities out. So, different flashes can also happen during meditation. I've had an experience where before I had the contact and communication with my starman I have today, because right today we talk all day every day. And so I had an experience where I laid down to meditate, and then I saw or remote viewed my nightlight. And at the time I had a nightlight that it changed rainbow colors. And so in my eye, I saw the nightlight, like I was looking at the wall, looking at the nightlight. And so, but the second night, once I always get excited when these things happen and your heart rate jumps and then it knocks you out of the meditation. So I'm still working on it. But he also, my starman has the ability, he's in my dreams. And so I've had different dreams in which negativity was going to happen. My car was supposed to blow up, and he yelled at the dream and he was like, no. And it woke me up out of a dead sleep. And then he told me, I was protecting you in your dream. Sorry to wake you up, but your car was going to be damaged in the physical reality. And so, but that experience happening, it turned into a whole download of the dreamwalker ability and how we have the ability to go inside of our dreams and program the experiences that we wish to see manifest into the physical reality. So it's wonderful. Okay, it's 8:02. So at 8:30, which is in 28 minutes from right now, we are doing another shadow work session. There is going to be a surprise tonight for anybody who joins us. So if you would like the Zoom, it's complimentary. So we keep each other, we heal each other and we come together as one tribe. That's why we're doing this. So anyone who wants the Zoom link, send me a message on daniellelipton.com. Just go to the website. A little box is going to populate at the bottom of the screen saying, send me a message, or do you have any questions? And then just send me a message and I will send it right back to you. Okay. This way you guys can join us and then we can heal each other, do the shadow work, and we can all feel great and release all the densities. Because when each and every one of us starts to do the shadow work, we start to heal ourselves. You guys become brighter. That shines more light in your own individual areas. And so we are supposed to be helping each other through the evolutionary process, because when we help each other, we all grow together as one consciousness. And so each and every one of us have generated, it's a magnetism consciousness grid that connects each and every one of you guys to me directly. So that's with every single video is a different grid that connects us, everyone who's there. And it goes above time and space, because the people who watch this video 6 months from now, you're also getting attunements. The star people do DNA activations, they do energetic clearings on everyone. So just pay attention to how you feel after you watch one of my videos. Now, if you feel, here's another train. So if you feel better after watching the video and you're having a crummy day, put it back on, because it'll make you feel better. Even if, now, I do this too sometimes. So if my energy in the house is feeling crummy, right? Well, I know that all the videos are encoded with high frequencies because I'm channeling the higher frequential beings. So I'll just put on the video and let it play in the room to clear the energy out of the room. This is how it works. Everything is energy. Sound is an energy. Your emotions that you radiate, are all you guys happy and joyful and excited while listening to all the cool information from the star people? It's an energy. And so put it on, let it play, let it clear your room. We can also do different types of group manifestations. So that was actually one of the questions tonight too. We didn't get to that part though. So, but group manifestations is something like this. Thank you, higher selves. Thank you, source frequency, for healing and blessing all individuals who watch this video throughout time and space. Thank you so incredibly much for allowing each person to be healed listening to the videos or watching the videos. Thank you for allowing their DNA to be activated, allowing them to activate their extrasensory abilities. And thank you so incredibly much for surrounding each and every soul form with so many love and blessings, so that we heal all people and every aspect of Mother Earth. And then I usually say, Amen. Usa, usa, usa. And that means I take that manifestation, I send it to the sun, and usa means it is done. It is the same link as last week. That link will never expire. So it's good for every Tuesday and Thursday for the shadow work, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So you guys have a wonderful night and many love and blessings. We might start 5 minutes late because we ran over a little. So we'll see. But I'll see you guys in the shadow work. You have a wonderful evening.